using them as the lowest note in the chord. So instead of, like, a C major chord is made up of C, E, and G, the first, third, and fifth notes of a C major scale. Now, if you don't understand basic chord construction, on my website, and there will be links here on the video, there are lessons on major and minor triads and major scales that you probably should go ahead and work your way through before you do this lesson. It'll be a little difficult to really get everything out of it unless you don't know that. All right, so here's the deal. We're going to take a part of one of my songs, a song called Killing Time, where I play just D and E, and the bass guitar inverts all of the chord notes, all the chords, by playing other notes in the chord underneath to make something that sounds a little bit different. Now, the first thing is, let's talk about chord inversions themselves. When I say root position, that means that we're using the root of the chord. So in C, it's just the C note itself, right? That is the lowest note of the chord. It's the first note we hear. All right. When I say first inversion, because we have our C, E, and G, that means that the E, which is the third of the chord, is the next note up. Then when I say second inversion, all right, so the chord here is E, G, C. When I say second inversion, that means the fifth of the chord is the lowest note. Now that gives you the opportunity to play some things a little bit more piano-like. I'm sure you guys have all played G, D over F sharp, E minor before. And what that is we've got G in the root position. The D over F sharp means we're playing a D chord with this low F sharp on the second fret. That's the third of a D major chord. The notes in D major are going to be D, F sharp, and A. Alright, so we have this bass line that goes down smoothly and then down to the E minor instead of having to go G up to D and then back down to E minor. You also see like C, G over B, right, where the B, this note right here, second fret, fifth string, is the lowest note in the G chord instead of playing the full G. Then A minor. It's just real common chord changes. But what we're going to do is we're going to take two chords, D major and E major, and I'm going to kind of show you a way of getting quite a bit more mileage out of those two chords. The notes in D major are going to be D, F sharp, and A. Those are the three notes that we're going to have to play with as far as our bass line goes. And the notes in E major are going to be E, G sharp, and B. Now I'm going to play a little bit of the song here, and there's actually going to be the full album track actually available for download on the lesson page. But what, so you're going to have to hear me sing, unfortunately, and play the bass and guitar parts together. But this is the last part of the song. This is the last chorus. The chorus of the song just goes between D and E. So normally in the other parts of the song we have the I woke up when you fell down, signs of life are underground. Is this where it all begins? Fall apart. Or, right, so it changes a little bit each time we do the chorus, but that's the basic idea, just D and E. Now for this last chorus, I'm going to play the whole thing for you, and hopefully not barf up along while I'm trying to sing it. And you're going to kind of see how I use the chord inversion, the bass notes, and then we'll pull it apart and dissect it. Okay, so here we go. This is the very last part of the song. 1, 2. I woke up when you fell down, signs of life are underground. Is this where it all begins? When all roads out lead right back in. 1,000 words for me today, and all I could think to say is, how could she leave her pieces for me to pick up when I can't hold my own? When I can't hold my own. Mine. So the idea here, the first part of it, just D and E. I woke up when you fell down, signs of life are underground. Is this where it all begins? When all roads out lead right back in. All right, now, right here we've got D over F sharp to E over G sharp. Right, so I'm using the third of each chord. Remember, the D triad, D, F sharp is the third, and A is the fifth, and then the E triad, we've got E as the root, G sharp is the third, and B is the fifth. All right, so I'm just playing the first inversion chords for both those, D over F sharp, which is second fret on the 6th string. We're blocking the 5th string. Open 4th string, 2nd fret on the 3rd string, and then 3rd fret on the 2nd string. So D over F sharp. And then we have E over G sharp, right? So this is another first inversion chord. We've got your third right here, the G sharp, 4th fret on the 6th string. We're blocking the 5th string, or muting it. You've got 2nd fret on the 4th string, 4th fret on the 3rd string, 5th fret on the 2nd string. Then we've got two second inversion chords where the 5th is in the bass. So we have D over A. And when I say D over A, it means we've got a D chord over an A bass note. Right, so what I'm doing is I've got my first finger on the 5th fret, 6th string, and then I'm barring the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings with my 3rd finger at the 7th fret. So that's my second inversion chord voicing. You could bar the whole thing there, it just sounds kind of thick to me. And then moving the whole thing up 2 frets for the E over B. Now, after that, then we've just got a regular old D major bar chord right here. You're blowing your first finger on the 10th fret, 3rd finger on the 12th fret, 5th string, 4th finger on the 12th fret, 4th string, 2nd finger on the 11th fret, 11th fret, 3rd string, and then you just move it up 2 frets for the E, and then we start the descending process back to, and these are both root position obviously because the D and the E, those are the roots of the chords. So we're back down to the D major with the root and the bass. Then we got E, second inversion, so it's E with the B, E over B. So we're just going back down through everything we just went up with. Then we have D over A. Then we have E over G sharp. Back to the first inversion, E. D over F sharp, which is the first inversion D, and then we have just E major, good old open E, open D, E and D. Alright, so I'll do it one more time for you just so you can kind of hear it now that we've worked our way through it and you kind of know what you're looking at with my hands. And we'll see if I can do it without choking. I woke up when you fell down, signs of life are underground. Is this where it all begins? When all roads out lead right back in. 1,000 words for me today, and all I could think to say is, how could she leave her pieces for me to pick up when I can't hold my own? I can't hold my own. Now keep in mind, when I'm playing this on a gig, I'm just going D and E back and forth the whole time. And the bass guitar player is playing all of that stuff. So I'm actually using the bass guitar in the arrangement to do all the chord inverting. What I'm playing here is basically me showing you how it all kind of works together. Just keep that in mind. My part, very simple. I'm doing the whole singer doesn't play much guitar thing, but it's going all the way through the song, and I'm letting the bass guitar player do all the interesting stuff. Alright, so that's how I've arranged it for the band. I can do it as a solo guitar by doing what we just did. Not quite as polished or full sounding, but it tends to work.